Good morning. Okay, you can hear me. Hear you. Good morning to the next session. I think we have 75 very interesting minutes in front of us. I'm presenting with Srini. So here, on the right. My name is Daniel. We are both from the Skype for Business product team. So Srini is from the engineering team. I'm from the technical product marketing team. And I think you want to kick it off probably, right?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chicago. And I'm so excited here to host the Microsoft Ignite. I am the person who has been like the owner on the IT Pro initiative from the engineering part of it. So with that, I will continue. So a little bit background on the partners and the journey for the IT Pro tools. We have several partners that's working with us very closely, and we certify them. And one of the area that we certify them is device. That's probably you guys already very familiar. We want to ensure that all devices to support Skype for Business are in high quality and make sure that our end user have the best experience with Skype for Business. The other aspect of like our certification is IT Pro partner tooling. What they are doing is they are enhancing the experience of IT Pro tool inbox that we are shipping. So you guys are familiar with the planning tool, topology builder, our monitoring tools like the SSRS report. And our partner that we certify will enhance your experience as an IT admin to manage, configure, and also troubleshoot, among other things, to do managing the Skype for Business deployment. So we work all together to create the healthy Skype for Business ecosystem. Now, with broad range of devices that we certified, we would like to also add an additional qualification this year that we call it an IT Pro Tool Partner certification, where we are offering a great innovation for our IT Pro experience. Why I want to call this as an innovation? Because we are trying to rally all our partners to provide the best experience for IT Pro in Skype for Business to manage Skype for Business in day-to-day job. What does it mean? One is we would like to have like one reporting engine, or one reporting place where we ourselves, the engineering part of it, is not doing so good in providing one centralized area to manage link. So that second one is real time. We are not very good right now in providing real time monitoring and troubleshooting. And that's one of the other reasons why we would like to partner with our third-party partners to provide the real time monitoring and troubleshooting. Third is the network monitoring. This another thing that we rely on our partner to provide some information. But on the other hand, there's a network monitoring and there is a real-time monitoring. How do we actually correlate all the data to make our IT admin can make a great decision in troubleshooting and making ensure that the quality of their server and network are healthy? That's another things that we actually also look up for the innovation by our partners. So who are our partners? This Skype for Business introduced 3 of our partners, Unify Square, Event Zero, and Nectar. And these are some of the information about like what is our key partners develop and what is the added value that they are bringing into the table. I'm going to do a show. I'm going to do a demo, to show the strength of like each of these partner tools, and I would like also to introduce them like as I'm going through the tool itself. Before that, I actually would like to introduce these new resources. One of these, if I can figure out why the clicking. Okay, so we actually, with the Skype for Business release, we want to introduce one landing page for all IT Pro tools that we ship internally. It used to be like there's like some tools in TechNet, and there's some tools in MSDN, there's some tools that like who knows where. And we would like to have one landing page where everybody can actually download and go there and find what is like our IT Pro tools should be. And if you couldn't find it, please ping me and let me know, and I would probably add it on the list. So as you can see here, we actually will have CQM, CQD, KHI resource, and also the centralized logging service shipped together with our Skype for Business server. The second thing that's interesting that we launched this in this Ignite is IT Pro Tool Partner page. You can go here and see like who is our certified partners. Yes, this is actually sorted by who happened to be like get certified first, but like look at all the partners that we actually has certified and what tools they're like offering. And the third one is we actually have okay, we actually also have a very interesting UC strategist white paper on our tools, inbox tools, and our partner. So please check it out. It will be interesting to get a little bit further information than what you get in this session. So with that, let me move to our IT Pro tool demo. So there are three partners here, and happen to be like our partners are in here. So Event Zero is here. So if you, after this session, you would like to talk to them, they are here. Mr. David Tucker is here. So, and Nectar is here as well. Mr. David Giongano is here. Sorry, apologize. And with that, I am going to do a demo. So here is our UC commander created by the Event Zero. So what is their core strength of Event Zero? And the reason why I'm the one who's doing the demo is because I really know well our partner product. I'm committed to validate it myself to ensure the partner that we are partnering and the tools that we are asking our customer to buy or our customer to actually partner with is actually at our approval, and we validate all those tools. So what is very great about these tools is because I can easily troubleshoot a certain kind of problem. Why is it? And they're relying on the data that we have, CDR, QE data. But the thing is, like, our SSRS has a certain kind of limitation, like a little bit slow to load, and it's not very good in like correlating the data. So their data visualization of the Event Zero is very, very great. So for example, in this case, I can give you an example, like this is another thing that like our reporting is a little bit lagging, which is user-based troubleshooting. So if I am trying to find a person who has been complaining that they're having a bad call, you can see in here he has 16 hours ago, David Tucker is making a call with Matthew Cooper, but he has a bad call. You can actually see in here, in one place, what type of like call it's going to be. If the call was done in VPN, call over Wi-Fi, and in here it actually says the call lag experienced heavy round trip delay. Not only that, they incorporate the information from CDR so you can actually see the QoE as well. The MS diagnostic information is right there in front of you. Another aspect that I like, the call data, which is like what is your end device, what is your front end. It's actually right there in front of you. Yes, we do have, in the engineering from the engineering aspect of it, I know the data is there, but we don't put it in a very visually appealing as this report. And the KHI, which is like very, very important. I'm very lucky that the person who introduced KHI is sitting at the back, Brandon Bernier. That's the person. Is actually, we want to make sure, like when you are having a bad call quality, that's not because of something that's fundamentally wrong with your server or service. So that's the reason why it's actually, we tie a certain kind of like user experience with the KHI. And in here, it will, there is like some information that related to the KHI 1 hour before and before the call, to ensure that it's not because of the server issues. So going back to David, another aspect that like we actually can see is like how many people are organized in how many conferences he organized and how many conferences he attend. And for example, I'll just pick one. You can see all these people who are in the conference. You can see people who are federated, who are people like who are actually externally joined. And one thing that like actually be great, another thing that's great is like you can see like how many people actually using what kind of modality when they join the meeting. And you can see here, Ken Lasko, for example, in this case, is like having a little bit audio problem because you can see here there's a gap, that there's an audio drop or in between the experience. So you can actually ensure that like when he's reporting a problem to the support desk, they actually can acknowledge that, yes, Ken, you actually have your audio drop. So these are like one of the other one of their core strength of our Event Zero in like supportability. Of course, there is also like other area of like management. This is like the dashboard of like what is the current enterprise voice total calls look like, how many are video calls, how many are actually our conferences is. One thing that I actually would like to point out and I love is the heat map. Again, in the engineering side of it, we can actually see how many IM is doing or conferences is doing throughout the day, but it's very, very hard to figure out when is the congestion, when is the most busy time. And this particular reporting and dashboard actually give the glimpse of what is going on in your company or in your deployment. I'm going to continue with my next demo, but I would like to point out there is a response group which you actually can manage your RGS. You can actually provision and manage your Polycom natively through Event Zero as well. And one thing that I'm actually excited to share is for having Event Zero implement the KHI, which is very important to ensure that the IT admin check on the health of the server's deployment first before they actually check on the next thing, which is the next layer of our deployment. With that, I would like to move to the next demo.
Should I change?
Yeah. Oh, thanks. So I'm very proud to announce Nectar as well, the only partner that actually did a network assessment for us. Why network assessment is a very important aspect of our success in deploying enterprise voice is because like sometimes our customer has IM and presence deployed and then didn't realize that basically their network is not ready to accommodate enterprise voice in their environment. And because of that, they have a bad feeling that it's like, oh, it's Skype for Business problem. They don't provide a good quality. But most of the time, when you drill down, it's actually the proof is in. I'm not native English, so the proof in the cake is in the pudding. Oh, it's not in the cake. The proof is in the pudding. Like many times, it's because of like your device. Many times, it's also because of your network. Whether it's Wi-Fi, whether it's the wired, whether the device is running out of battery, and those kind of things. It's actually affecting the way you have Skype for Business experience. Another example, it's like somebody actually say like, oh, when I'm externally access join meeting from home, I'm having problem. But probably that person don't realize that that person actually sharing with the kids, playing Xbox online. And so they're splitting the Wi-Fi bandwidth for something that's, or somebody like one of the kids like streaming the Netflix video. So those kind of things can cause congestion in the network traffic and causing your experience from home. However, at work, it's the same thing. Sometimes we optimize. We actually have the similar problem in Microsoft itself, that we optimize on data on our network compared to our voice. So we are not like prioritizing our network bandwidth to support our link. So a certain kind of places in Microsoft, a certain kind of building, the network was not really set correctly. So what actually Nectar helps is they, at the end of the assessment, you would like to be like this. They will run your assessment for probably a week or two. That's probably depending on how large is your company. But we would like to ensure that like at least you have a MOS score above 4. Say for example, this is actually based on the real data from modality. Of course, we already scrubbed some of the PII data, but you can see here that basically this 3D shows that there is a drop on the MOS score for the IT Business Center place. And if you actually take a look at the other table-like information here, you can actually see that there's certain time that it's actually dropped to red. And why is that? Like as I mentioned before, one of the biggest reasons in our customer side is they don't set the QoS policy correctly. The second aspect of it is sometimes it's because the engineer have a duplicate IP. So within one side to the other, they cannot communicate. The third aspect of it is like they don't necessarily have the hardware and software that Microsoft has certified or licensed. So this is the first part of Nectar tools. Once you actually get the network assessment, you would like to have those always monitor. As it also happened in Microsoft, somebody that new hire and they probably mess up with a certain kind of configuration, or get rebooted, we get a new router and everything gets set to a default. And then suddenly everybody has a bad experience again. So the monitoring is not like about like monitoring of the network quality. It's not just about like a one-time deal at the very beginning and everything will be fine. So we recommend that you do like a live monitoring of your network. So this is like a sample of the perspective session that's live, that's actually check on your network continuously to ensure that everything is fine. But besides the network, As I mentioned as well with the event 0, you can see here that they actually include the check of the server and service health within the link deployment. And if I hover on this one, it even includes whether your certificate is still valid or not. So if you see like something in here that's red, we can actually drill down and take a look at which particular KHI that is failing. And one thing that like a KHI that very important that sometimes it's happened within our own environment is the CPU usage is too high or the disk space becoming like limited. So with that, this is all the tools that's like basically our admin would like to monitor day to day. And what else that we actually do as an admin? Well, the other thing that's like I mentioned earlier as well, it's user-based troubleshooting. You get a call, say, I call myself, why do I have a bad call? And I want to make sure that it's not because of my phone, but it's something else. So you can see in here the mass of the call that I made, and I will sort it based on like the lowest. And I can see in here at the same time the network loss. So say like I pick something and the jitter, say I pick the one that like I want to know why this one is causing a bad call. As you can see here, Nectar actually also integrate with like Skype for Business data really well. They get the information from and to from our SDN API. And they correlate our information with their data. And this is to show where the problem is. In here you can see, if you click on the QoS and get like a little bit further information, you can see the packet drop hidden up at certain time, and we can you can also take a look at the bandwidth congestion itself. So another thing that like I'm usually interested as an admin is to know if this person have a bad experience, is there anybody else who have the experience in this kind of like environment? And this itself will give you the information about where is other area or other people who will probably call and yell at me. So, sorry. There's some area that's like actually empty, and it actually shows that it's basically the call is still ongoing, so there's no final boss score yet. So this is like part of the troubleshooting, and you can drill down on the topology, you can drill down on like who's people who get affected. So what else is important, which is like this is another thing that like our partner does pretty good. The same thing with Event Zero is creating a business kind of report, a monthly or a weekly report about the status of their deployment. And in here you can see what is actually the network connection look like for Wi-Fi, for example. Oh, those are like actually the average MOS is 3.8. What about our last month wired MOS score. Oh, the MOS score in here is actually 372. It's interesting. Usually you expect that people actually have like a worse MOS score in the Wi-Fi. But this is also happening even in my building. Our wired is actually has worse connection than our Wi-Fi because people are sometimes not paying attention to our wiring system and things get knocked down and we don't have people in the building. They use the wire. They assume that they will have the better connectivity and better experience, but it's actually not true. So in here, you can actually have the information that like, oh, it's actually our wired is worse than Wi-Fi. What's going on? And you can send your network admin to help investigate the problem. So with that, I'm going to conclude our Nectar demo and move on to our next demo.
That can happen.
Okay. So really quickly to demo Unify Square. Most of you also has familiar with like the Unify Square name. They are one of our longest partner. They bring in like also monitoring and reporting and troubleshooting. But one thing that I have experienced myself is their strength is in the PowerMon. It's like basically hosting. They have hosted probes that like ensure that your external customers or external user are actually having the best experience. And this is like I'm showing the live information of like Microsoft. Like you can see like basically our availability drop a little bit, but let's not dwell on that. Hold on, what happened? So in the PowerMon dashboard, in front of you, you will be able to see the high priority incidents that's affecting us. And they allow you to actually write a tickets and like create a product studio. Like we tie all escalation within like Microsoft to a product studio, and then able to write a ticket and actually store it and then provide the information. One thing that actually nice is actually knows that like how long the failure has been happening, how many people are actually impacted. So in here, what kind of failure that has happening. So this is running a synthetic, and the failure is when it tried to accept the call. The similar thing, you can actually see the MS diagnostic ID, and you can actually get each of the reasoning included in their report. So with that, I conclude all my partner demo, and would love to answer any questions that you have.
I think we had a question here.
At the end of like our demo, let's finish the ISV and then is it okay?
We remember, okay?
We have a follow-up session. I have a follow-up session tomorrow, which is like we are going to drill down on IT Pro, Skype for Business tools that we are offering inbox, and also our partner. Like, so today we are talking a lot more about like our partner demo. Tomorrow we are like concentrating about like what is our inbox experience and improvement that we make for Skype for Business. So check it out.
Okay.
With that, I'm giving it back to Daniel.
So give me a moment. We have here a very interesting scenario, so I cannot go into presentation mode, any kind of reason. But it's okay, I'm not presenting Office today. So, okay, my name is Daniel John van Wellik, as I said before. I am also part of the product team, slightly different space. So let me switch for a moment, because we talked about IT Pro Tools in the last couple of minutes, super important topic. And we will continue that slightly, but let me show you something different and probably ask you a question before that. So who were at the Build conference last week in San Francisco? Please raise your hand. Nobody were at the Build conference. Beautiful San Francisco. Okay. Well, great, because I can cover one of the very important announcements that we did. So we launched the Skype developer platform at the Build conference last week. So if you haven't seen the presentation, it's really all about providing APIs and SDKs to customers, partners, to developers to develop actually applications on the great platform Skype for Business, right? So we have a huge ecosystem of ISV solutions and IT Pro Tools already with Link 2013. However, as we're going with Skype for Business into the next stage of our unified communications solutions, we're also having more opportunities for developers to provide extensions, extending capabilities, creating features, creating ISV scenarios, and so on off the top of our platform. So the next two demos that you will see later on is basically how partners took those SDKs and APIs and created solutions around it that extending the capabilities of Skype for Business. But probably let me explain one thing here for the moment. So what you see here in the slide is basically that we have a great solution today on-premise. And as you know, we're moving into the cloud, right? So APIs and SDKs are mainly available for the on-premise version today. However, our direction is to move into the cloud and have the same capabilities for you or for partners to create great apps and extensions for our platform. Another thing is that Skype for Business is in every platform, right? So from mobile to web to desktop and so on, right? So if you measure the quality, the performance, it's not only from the client that you have installed on your machine. It's basically from any device that you use. And you want to get sure that the quality, but also the necessary capabilities and features are available on a platform where you want to communicate from. So one thing that you can see in the slide in the green color, by the way, is that we're moving into a model where we're providing the future SDKs and APIs, as I said before, not only on-premise, but also for third-party providers into the cloud. And that's a very powerful future, because think about it, you can leverage Office 365, Skype for Business Online, and you can actually connect your application to an API that will be ready in the cloud in the future or in the next, basically, next couple months, end of 2015-ish, something like that. So with that, let me explain one more thing here before I go to the demos. Yeah, I cannot move to the presentation mode, unfortunately. Exactly. Very interesting issue. Don't worry, I don't need the slide. So if you have a look today on our web, you will find qualified apps. So we have more than 100 qualified apps from different partners. All of the partners that you heard before are basically on the web. Two more that I will introduce in a second. And you can find solutions for, let's say, healthcare and finance and reporting and BI. Contact center is a big one. So if you actually have Link or Skype for Business, you might want to have a look on the website. It's now rebranded to Skype for Business. So you can search for Skype for Business qualified apps. And you will find a list of great applications that help you to use our platform, to use our technology for very specific industry and business scenarios. So with the Skype developer platform, this is something where we want to go into a model where we win even more developers, more companies, right? And that was the reason why we presented a Build conference, because you have 15,000 developers there. They're creating apps from mobile to web to all possible things. And this is the ecosystem that we want to create with Skype for Business, right? So our great platform, great capabilities and features that you know, and then everything that you want to extend and want to customize and build on the top of it. Okay, with that, I have two partners here that will share a little bit more. I hope this is not a beta version of Office. So the first partner is IR Prognosis, that you might heard of. They're actually having great applications in telemetry and reporting as well. And I want to basically give the microphone to my team here and show you a demo and a short introduction. So give us a second to change.
I'll just move this here a little bit closer so you guys can hear me a little bit better. But my name's Eric Bauer. I'm the Global UC Product Director for Unified Communications here at IR Prognosis, and we really want to thank Daniel as well as the rest of the team in here for allowing us to come in here with me. I have Matt Torpy, who is our Senior Solution Engineer and also one of our MCSE Communications Certified engineers. So just in case there's, and we'll work through this here, a little bit of lack of familiarity with who we are. So we are the market leader in multi-vendor communications management. We have over 11 million phones under management, including the world's largest communication ecosystems across Avaya, across Cisco, and most importantly, across Microsoft Lync and Skype for Business. We do have a global reach with offices in 5 countries, and we are a gold communications partner. In fact, the first dedicated multi-vendor experience management software provider to achieve gold status. So something that we just achieved this week that we're very proud of. Now, from a technology standpoint, there's a number of things that we're doing, right? So we're simple to implement. Centralized architecture, cloud and on-premise. So a lot of the things that have already been discussed during the session. And again, without the need for taps or probes. Doing it all through the rich metrics and APIs that Microsoft provides, that the Microsoft engineering team provides. Also have comprehensive visibility and coverage. So system and application telemetry, right? Deep network insight, as well as complete ecosystem. Realizing that within a Microsoft world, there are other things that are required. Session border controllers, network devices, as well as oftentimes legacy platforms that are being migrated over to your Skype for Business workloads. And then we're also fully qualified on Skype for Business, as well as the latest SDN 2.1, which is where we get a lot of that information. And so what I'd like to do now is turn it over to Matt to show just a little bit of the capabilities that we have in that space, and also talk a little about how we're leveraging that Skype developer platform to not only manage unified communications, but to integrate unified communications into the management, so you can have a much richer and much more interactive experience. Just take your mouse over there.
There we go. Let me just a minute. Okay, can everybody hear me okay? All right, so I've gone ahead and logged into the Prognosis web interface here. So definitely HTML5 compliant web interface. We have mobile browsers or mobile interfaces as well. So you can install an application on your iPhone and connect that right into your Prognosis server and see what's happening in your environment in real time. As Eric had mentioned, one of the big differences and one of the big things that Prognosis likes to support is that we have an easy deployment model. We're a software application that sits on a Windows server. We don't do any sort of router peering or port spanning or network taps or probes or any of these costly appliances that you have to deploy and work with your firewall teams to open up and get those out in the environment. We send you an executable, you install it. Within hours, Prognosis is up and running, collecting data and information on your environment. Eric had also mentioned that Prognosis uses the vendor-provided APIs to get this information. Absolutely, SDN API is a huge source of data for us. What that allows us to do is show you in-flight, real-time, user experience information for each one of those audio-video sessions. So we can tell you how many calls are currently up and what that user experience is right now while they're still on that call. In addition, we're utilizing WMI to connect to each one of those servers within your Lync topology, within your Lync deployment, so we understand what's happening from a CPU, memory, network, disk, service, process perspective at any point in time on those systems. So if you have a conferencing service on a front end that's not down, Prognosis will know about it, and it has the ability to restart that service for you, or just to simply send you a notification that that service is completely down. In addition, we have Active Directory tie-ins to understand users, operational organizational units, where they belong, and we use that as kind of a foundation to tie the QoE and the CDR information together that we also pull from SQL. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive into some of these active calls and start to show you just a little bit of the information that Prognosis is collecting in real time. So when I'm looking at my active calls, I can see that I have a number of calls that are currently ending. They just ended. I have a number that are still up. There's no end time. I see information around the origination and destination. I definitely have that duration, that user experience, and that initial SIP response code. So if that call fails, or if that call was unsuccessful in even tying itself up, then we'll be able to show you that information as well. Jitter, packet loss, latency, absolutely things that we need to watch for when we're trying to troubleshoot user experience. Drill a little bit further into one of those particular calls. So now you'll see some of the rich data that's coming from SDN API. Again, the call information, SIP response codes, the messaging, general information. We understand the two devices that are actually being involved here, or the two pieces of equipment that those link clients are writing on. So we have visibility into those operating systems as well. So if you have a user that's complaining about consistent issues, we have the ability to open a WMI connection to their machine and tell you what's running on it at the same time that they're having those challenges. Maybe they have a number of browsers opened up. Maybe virus scanners running at the wrong time, consuming resources that could otherwise be used to processing that call. Bidirectional audio quality. We can see we have MOS score reflected there. We can hover over each one of these link clients and get more details. I can drill down on the reverse side of that stream to bring its information forward, as well as the network hops, the individual network devices that this particular session is traversing in your network. Again, this is all provided via the SDN API. This is without probes, taps, anything like that. This information is being forwarded directly to Prognosis. So if we have latency between a particular hop, I can show that information to you as well. Lastly, for this particular session, we get the quality of service in flight. So we can show you at any point in time during that particular call if there was a spike in latency that caused my user experience to degrade, or if I had packet loss 30 seconds in. Prognosis definitely has that information available. So this is, in my opinion, this is great detail for an individual session that's happening in real time. Oops. Why don't you type it in there? But when we have a problem with a user that's been reported historically, how does Prognosis deal with that? So, absolutely historical reporting is one of our core capabilities. So all this rich, detailed information we're receiving in real time, we store that in our own Prognosis format database collections, and then we make that available through the web interface. So I just searched for Terry. You can see it was a pretty generic search. We're getting hits on Cisco, Avaya, really anywhere that Prognosis has visibility that user is configured. And here's our enterprise voice user. Drill a little bit deeper. We'll see some of that information we're pulling from Active Directory. See some of the previous calls that this user's been involved in. We also have conference sessions, so we like to differentiate between these link-to-link or enterprise voice calls when we start to look at conference information as well. Then we can also see the conferences that Terry may have organized. But this is a particular call that we want to go a little bit further on. So click on that information. Prognosis brings those details forward. You can see that was a pretty good call from a Microsoft perspective. I definitely have the codecs, R factors, jitter, packet loss, latency, really everything that I need to look at here. I can even see the mediation server that this call was routed through, as well as history on that particular server. But what I want to demonstrate here is that everything on the link side looks like it's a pretty good call here. How can we go further? Well, because Prognosis is a truly multi-vendor solution, and Skype for Business and Link is deployed in multi-vendor environments all the time. What we do is we take voice quality reports from each one of those vendors, and we stitch those together using our own algorithm. So when I click on Voice Quality 360, what Prognosis is going to do is take that link session. It's going to give me that information on the left. See my bidirectional audio experience. We went to a Sonos SBC. We also received voice quality from that device. So we're going to add that into the mix. From Sonos, we went to an Audio Codes SBC. We also fully support that. And then down to a Cisco handset. So quickly, again, no probes, no taps, nothing like that, just vendor-provided information from each one of those unique vendors. We can take that information, stitch it together, show you the entire path of that call so that you can start to isolate where those problems could have been caused outside of the link environment. Yep, and then we do have one more thing to show. If I can find my mouse. Just hit all of that. There we go.
And so the last thing,
I'll let you.
sorry to switch back. So we want to talk about is how we're integrating, the Skype developer platform. So what you can see here is our reimagined UX, which is coming out here in the next couple of months. So you're seeing a lot of in-flight information. You're seeing a lot of things correlated into a single display. right? So instead of waiting for a call to be ended, you're seeing as the call is happening, what's going on, who's being dropped. You're seeing gaps when people come in, come out. You're seeing a lot of the things around inside, outside, wired, wireless. A lot of the things that were talked about is critical when you're looking at things in real time and understanding. But almost more importantly, and this is where we're really leveraging that developer platform, is you'll see under the organizer, you'll see a Send IM button. So again, not only are we looking to manage unified communications, but we're looking to integrate unified communications into the experience, into the operational experience, as well as into the managerial experience. So if you are having issues, you can start to engage now leveraging the Skype for Business platform with others within the organization.
Thank you very much. Perfect. So let me switch back here for a moment. Okay. So, Philip, you want to take a moment to plug in? Thank you very much. So that was one demo that we wanted to show you. I want to switch to a completely different topic, and there's a reason why. Because tomorrow afternoon, and I will tell you the session number later on, we have more sessions where we're demonstrating ISV partner solutions on the top of the Skype developer platform in completely different areas, right? So you will see recording and compliance applications and actually communication-enabled business process applications or type applications. And to give you a little bit of a preview on that, I invited Philip from also a European country, from Switzerland. So I'm from Austria, by the way. You can hear that, or you might hear that. And to switch from reporting and telemetry and the data that you need to analyze or that you need to access to have a good quality in terms of the communication, I want to switch to something where we actually leverage those communication capabilities. So Philip is one of our partners that is for many, many years connected to Microsoft and is creating applications, and we basically called it in past CBBs, a communication-enabled business process. Very important for customer care, contact center, for any kind of B2C and B2X scenarios. And I want to give the word now to Philip to show you what we can do.
Thank you very much. So my name is Philip Beck. I'm coming from Louver, and I'm in the business now for about 7 years. And I have to say, what I've seen now, the guys building in these platforms, I would have been at the place here 7 years ago. Because all the big projects we did the last couple of years, telling the people that, yeah, probably the headset is bad, probably the virus scanner is running mad, was always the same thing. Now we have the tools, obviously, there, which are capable of telling the customer or telling you as an IT department, wow, yeah, it is this. And it doesn't make a lot of less unsleepless nights, probably. And I'm very proud having saw this, and I'm pretty sure we get some of those into Europe, into our projects as well, because I didn't know this is going to happen. But moving back to ISV of Louver, Louver is, as you already mentioned, Danny, very strong and comes from the contact center market, right? So we build up a contact center on ISV, purely link-based, UCMA, whatever you name it. There are pretty much functionalities or companies out there doing this as well today, but this is an IT Pro session. So I would like to move that around a little bit and change the view on our tools to what can they do for the IT Pro. If we look at that, the normally IT Pro challenges, if it moves around away from the network, because network and quality of service, quality of experience is pretty big. But if it moves away of that, then it comes to, a guy went to holiday and just called the IT help desk, which should change his forward. How are we going to do that? Normally, or sometimes you use SafeOTIL, but this has a limitation of about 400 or 500 users in the Active Directory on link, so probably not so good. On the otherwise, you're going to change AD password, log him in, and change the forward. So, but this as well, not that great. Or holiday management on response groups, kind of weird stuff, right? How do I manage forward stuff on response groups? And there is some discussion about attending console. There is the Link 2010. There are others coming out, and obviously, this is always a discussion. We have, in the ISV, we have several products, as mentioned, from the contact center world. over to a team manager, coming back later on, to a presence assistant. And presence assistant basically came out from the point where we wanted to help the IT pro manage the forward of a user. After that, we put that into production. They said, hey, you can now manage forwards. Can you do that based on presence? We said, wait a second. Yes, we could leverage all the APIs we got. Great, APIs we have to say. And make forwards or SIM rings depending on your presence. So if you sign in, you got available, going to say, oh, I would like to have SIM ring with my mobile because I'm not always on desk, right? But if I'm offline, I would have to have an automatic forward immediately to, let's say, my group, or I would like to have a forward to the contact center or whatever. And there is a little slightly change because when I'm busy, I would like to have this forward to my colleagues as well and not ringing me because I would like to work without disruption. Right? Oh, this is something came out a couple of months ago, and we're just building it to scale to a 50,000 user for one of our customers, which is quite happy getting that in place because of the IT pro is able to manage the forwards of the users and the user get a more presence-aware call routing functionality. There is another one. I mentioned Team Manager before. Every one of you on IT Pro had a response group which goes beyond 800 agents. Probably run into some issues as well with scalability, availability, and not so stable response group agent presence awareness, however. Because we have our completely own presence, routing stuff, we are able to make sure this is going to work. Even if you go to 5,000 or 7,500 agents there, that's not a problem. But the main issue or the main feature we have here is how do you do opening hours management? You do this, oh yeah, we have to do these numbers on this website of the response group. Oh no, they enter the wrong number, the whole call routing broken. Bad. What we did is we integrate with Outlook. We integrate with another API we got from Microsoft. Thank you, Danny.
Sure.
And on this side, we're going to leverage the calendar integration with Outlook. So we're going to query Outlook. What's the opening state of the response group actually? Makes it very, very easy to change it because everybody knows how to use Outlook, right? At least today. I hope so. And as well, there is lots of questions. When you implement a response group and it's running well, team managers come out and ask, oh, how many calls do we lost on the response group? How many calls do we answer? How long does it take it for us to answer the calls on the response groups? Typically, contact center question, but they don't want to buy a contact center for just those response groups, right? So we also have some reporting here on the response group or on the team manager from us. Then our focus, even if it goes to the contact center, is keeping everything simple as possible and keeping everything tied into link as possible so that you don't have to have another agent, that you don't have to have something else. You have to manage on the client computer, right? And therefore, it also works with every link possible endpoint. And for those who had some issues with response groups and Polycom or Astra devices, taking several seconds until the voice stream has been built up, right? This is also the solution for this kind of issue because with this, it doesn't really happen doesn't really take this long. It just takes half a second and voice stream is up. But that said, integrating into the devices and every kind of link client we would like to, we also thought about, fast switching, switchboard, attending console, however you name it. We do a slightly easy, not a full attending console, don't blame me on that, I didn't say that, but a slightly easy kind of switchboard where you easy can transfer call to somewhere else, right? Integrated into the link client. I'm going to show you afterwards how this is going to look like. But it's using conversation window extension. We also get an API from Danny, thank you, which makes us capable of delivering this functionality as well to you. Let me show that afterwards. There is a tab program actually on that. So if you're interested in testing this and give us feedback and how this looked like, go to luver.net/tab. Okay. I guess that's time for the demo.
By the way, if you need an API, just let me know.
We almost do everything with your APIs, you know. Okay, let's start with the Presence Assistant over here. So that's the administrative user interface, right? Sorry. That's the administrative user interface. You're going to look on all your users. You can search for users. You can filter on organization, unit, whatever. As soon as you go into the user itself, right, you're going to see something like this. Oh, just kick that. So here we go. So what you see here is what I mentioned before, that depending on the present state, the user can configure forwarding rules. These forwarding rules are written through UCMA, through an API, directly into link server. We don't take care of them ourselves. We just update link properties. As you can see here, when I now have call forwarding off, I go a little bit down. So we have the away state. We have forwarding to the system gray at def local. And when I go here into Skype for Business, I see that there is unanswered calls will go to gray, group 1, right? So when I set me now on green, you will expect that there is a simmering with my mobile here in Chicago. So I go back to, oh, no!
Yeah, that happens.
That's bad. It's always Windows 10. We have to be on the brightest, on the best one. So, going on. Bad. Signing in. Well, what you also see, what we implemented here is another busy and busy solution. You get that. No, I don't want to do that. You get this busy and busy here as well, so you can configure it through a website quite easily for all our users. But let me go back and set Daniel, not you, Danny, to available. And now you see there is automatically a configuration change happen that it says, oh, forward calls to. No, that's the offline, still the offline. Takes a while to sync now. So there will be, but this is the offline you see. So there is in the back a change now to offline, and now we signed in. It goes and will change it again to whatever we are. So this is kind of presence agnostic call routing updates in your link client, right? When we move on to the team manager.
Or Skype for Business.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Skype for Business. Oh, yeah, the Presence Assistant, when you say Skype for Business, the Presence Assistant will be one of our first product which will be available for Link Online, Skype for Business Online as well. Thank you, Mary. Here's the Team Manager. Team Manager, as admin user interface, allows you to configure zip addresses, workflows, whatever you want, forward targets, whatever, depending on the workflow. Also, opening hours book. So now the interesting things come. How does the opening hours book look like? It's like this, right? So we go for an opening hours box, managing opening hours, and this is an Exchange calendar which you easily can delegate access to a team member or the supervisor of the team or whatever, so that he can change, oh, let's say here, this open time tomorrow, we have a team event, edit the occurrence. The open time for the team event, because we go for the team event, so we will close at 2, right? So, okay, let's do that. So we will close at 2 tomorrow in the response group or in the team call group we have here. This is one thing we can make sure that this is possible for you. And we'll probably, as an IT pro, lower your task during the day where people are calling you and saying, hey, come on, we need to do that. One other thing I would like to point out here is that when you are in the progress of moving to UC and people are using UC, they would like to start chatting with the bot as well. So not only having calls to a response group, they will also like to chat to a team, and this is as well something we are able to deliver. And what you see on the right-hand side, teams, members, so as well the admin can activate or inactivate, so the formal, informal response group stuff. can bring user into the response groups or not, how we would like to do that. Okay, one other thing, just short, not so much time, is the switchboard. That's how it looks like, actually. When you're the switchboard, that's sad. It's not a fully attending console. Please respect that. I don't want to break into the attendant world here. It should just be a simple way to switch calls, to route calls to somewhere else. So when I get a call, this conversation context window will open up, right? I can see my favorites, which I have in link favorites as well over here. I can then, because I have a call now, I can then inform, because I see Anna Antonov from Gray is away, I can press one button and it will open up an email with some pre-filled in format stuff here. Or if she's available, I could send her a chat, or I could search for whatever, a group or something like that, and see whatever here is and search the company to make sure I can pass the call to the right person. Right? So those are the tools probably will help you doing your job better or even more efficient. And if you have more questions, please come to our website. On our website, oh, I have to switch myself online. Look at this. We have on our website a little integration into WebRTC. Again, I have to thank for the new Skype.
Totally, weekend
for business web API. I'm still struggling in pronouncing the name, right? But this is also Presence, and with Presence, we're going to show Presence on the website. We have a little vCard button. You can download my vCard and get in contact with me. But as well, if I'm green, I would like to show you that it, depending when I click on my face, you will get a whole bunch of lists on the way how to contact me. That's probably interesting for your marketing department. And it goes from web chat, WebRTC audio, WebRTC video, over Skype, link federation, all this kind of stuff. And it's pretty cool, actually, so that you can do, hey. Oh, this will do now, the web chat. Well, let's see if this wireless is going to work for that. But yeah, so this is the way you always can contact me when I'm green, right?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Philip. So thank you very much. So I think that was a beautiful example on some different aspects of how we use the developer platform, from telemetry, reporting, BI, compliance, recording, some other areas that we have, to actually solutions where you see capabilities and features and changes on the client side as well. So the great thing is we have all the partners here, and we left a little bit of time for questions. We have some presents, basically, that we give to you if you have a question, okay? So if you have questions,
I would like to invite the partner to come here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And help answer the questions. So David.
You have the microphone in the middle, so please use the microphone.
Or Matthew, okay.
You're recorded. Thank you.
Yeah, question for all the vendors. Is this thing, I guess it's on, right? Where are you guys getting your data from? So like the monitoring stuff looks great. If you're using a link client, I understand that the link client is pumping back CDR QoE. But we are a 99% VVX 600 shop, and most of our end users are over 60, 65, work in a research institute. So a lot of the people are picking up the VVX phones that don't support the CDR QoE kind of metrics back to the monitoring server. So how do you guys help us address when they call me and say, hey, I had a bad call quality, and I go look in the link monitoring server and I go, I get no data from your phone.
You want to take this? You can just pass around, but the question is like, let me repeat the question. So the question is like, where is the data for monitoring and troubleshooting is coming from?
Yeah, I mean like the IR, you guys, that stuff looked really cool, but how are you getting anything like the devil's in the details, right? So can our endpoints going to give you the data that you need to present this rich stuff? Yeah, so.
Yeah, so VVX is a special case. They don't do in-call telemetry because they're not
Yeah, end of the year, beginning of next year.
It's coming. Polycom don't have a date yet, but it is coming. But they also do VVX, help me,
They do CX.
400s, 500s.
Well, the CX series is running the Link Phone Edition, which does support all this stuff. But, I mean, seriously, we're, 99%, several thousand of these things sitting out there. How can you guys help me today in saying, yep, that network subnet, yep, that device, or sounds like you can't.
No, you certainly can. So VVX 400s and 500s, and you can license the other versions as well. There's a feature in there called, what is it? It's called
VQE?
Ask me later. There's a feature in there that you can enable, and Nectar guys listen to it, we listen to it, and it gives you an approximation of what you get out of the normal NMOS.
Yeah, okay. So I need to go buy something else for my VVX 600s.
No, it's built into the 600s. It's
Sure.
a feature that's in there, 500, 600, and I think it's one of the other ones as well. But
and then we basically, through the magic of how you provision a VVX phone, tell the VVX phone to pump data to some device, which is one of your guys' devices.
Telemetrics, that's the name of it. That's the feature.
What is it?
Telemetrics is a standard for it.
Okay,
and those
and
phones
then
produce it.
and how are you guys knowing about the routers and the switches that we're going through without getting into the networking stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, so the SDN API has done a tremendous job of implementing a lot of network level details. And so what we're actually doing is we're leveraging the rich metrics that come out of that API to be able to present the layer 3 metrics
So
without
like
taps and
my
probes.
VVX phone or my Link client says, hey, I need to go talk to somebody over here. All he's going to do is say, you know what, he's not on my subnet. Let me go talk to this gateway. So how are you guys able to say, to trace this thing back, to say, oh, that went through router 1, router 2, router 3, router 4, without having some kind of like SNMP read only hooks into the networking gear?
Yep, so you can do SNMP reads without taps and probes. So it is a multi-layer when you have situations like that.
So you guys do need the SNMP hooks to get the data for the routers and that it goes through?
In certain situations, yes. In probably 90 to 95% of situations, no.
Okay, I'm going to come by your guys' booth.
Absolutely.
I like the product, but I'm
Sure.
devil's in the details.
Absolutely it is. Yeah, we'd be happy to talk about it in more detail.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Can I get the Nectar version real quick? Or?
Next question, please. Oh, I think you were before. Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. So just,
Tom needs to give the Nectar version, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm actually mad. I'm just wearing Tom's badge. So don't tell Microsoft, but not every user in the world is on a Link device or a Skype for Business device.
I wish they would pick the phones and unplug them and just use their Link client, but they're like 7 years. We've used this phone for 30 years. What do you mean?
I know we keep trying, but so for that perspective, for that version, for those situations, Nectar puts in analyzers in key spots in the network, and will often bracket those key points, so we know the call quality coming in and coming out. We use the Link SDN API as well, but to your point, there's a deeper level. So we use the analyzers in place to get that next level of data that you need, or in areas where the Link SDN is not picking up the information. So thanks.
So, quick question, if you can hear me, throw a little curveball here. I love what you guys are doing. I'm going to visit your booth, all of you. The world that we're working in right now, what can you guys do for the gray area of virtualization? Can you guys tap into the latency, all of these that essentially tie into the gray area that we can't see, that may turn into, we have lots of issues now through the virtualization sphere that tie into the networking, the QoE, a lot of these metrics. We have a lot of engineers on our staff that deal with the KHI, a lot of that dashboarding, but how do we tie that back into, we have all separate, we have networking teams, we have SQL Server engineering teams, and we're trying to kind of build that story, that relationship. Will you be able to give us some evidence, some help with tying into this is caused because of the virtualization stack, or how deep, how far can you guys get down into all that?
From a Nectar perspective, we can get pretty far. You can stop by the booth. We can kind of get to the specifics of the question.
Yeah.
But we can get pretty far. And one of our strengths is correlating all that data, as you were saying, giving the Link server team, the Skype for Business server team, the information they need to go to the data people or to go to your SIP trunk provider. All of that stuff, we're able to correlate it across to give you the picture that you need and the information and the language you need to talk to the other teams within your organization.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll answer that on the virtualization side. So it is. It's an abstraction, right? So you can have, server performance, but if you don't understand what's happening at the virtualization layer, it becomes challenging. Right. So one of our, we have 3 different product lines. One of them is an infrastructure management product line, which has deep integration into the leading virtualization providers. And we leverage that to correlate that information to show, what's happening in, for example, VMware at the host level as well as at the guest level to see is that the root cause rather than, a server misbehaving or a particular service on a server misbehaving.
Right, because we love the product. I deal with it day to day. Link, Skype for Business, and we're becoming, rather than technical, we're becoming detectives. People are coming up to us saying, this is a horrible experience, and then we have to build that story and that evidence to go back and actually pull those teams together and say, hey, you guys need to get your act together as a whole.
Yep. It's that single view. Did you want to?
No.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
It goes
Here for your question, okay?
It's correlation.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
Okay, next question, please.
Okay, this question is for Louware, and I guess this mic isn't on, is it?
It is.
It is, okay.
Yep.
It's two questions. I didn't quite catch it. How did you get the delay down on the phone? And then the second one is the presence assistant, team manager. That seems to be back-end UCMA, whereas the switchboard is more of an end user. Am I catching
Yeah. So the team manager presence assistant are really back-end products. You will never see them on any device. Which makes it easy to work with mobile phones, Link clients, Skype for Business, or Polycom, or Astra, or whatever. And the other one is the question for the team manager and how we brought down the delay is the way how we do routing. So we do routing another way than the response group is doing it.
So using the team call method too?
Yeah, no, it's not the team call group method. It's more like we are really taking care of the call and of the IVR and of playing music in there. Yeah. This is how we do this. And the last question, yes, the attending console is just a registry key entry on the client, which will pull down the Silverlight version, which will run in the communication window extension, which will connect to the actual current conversation and will give you the functionality you just saw.
All right. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Right. Thank you. It's a quick question, and the last question, so I suppose. Is it possible with any of our tools to make a track between the carriers to the PBX? Because we had a customer in Mexico that is a radio station, and there's some kind of beeps that came from the carrier, and magnifies, and even in every jump or every hop in the network until the main cabin, right?
Yep. No, it's a great question. So I'm not sure. We had a press release on Sunday about an acquisition that gives us cloud experience engine capability, so we can actually do external PSTN dial-in, sampling audio quality. So something like that would be able to found. So we're testing the carrier, not just the internal as well. So we'll do outside in as well as inside out.
And we can run the synthetics as well, but we typically will bracket the connection between the carrier and the PBX. And this also applies to hosted providers. The same challenge exists. And based on that, we can check call quality coming in and going out. And we can get the SIP path that's coming over a SIP connection and give that back to the carrier and say, here's in the signaling where you're having issues. So yeah, we can give you that detail.
All right, I will.
Thank you. One last thing, if you're interested on the Skype developer platform, we have a session this afternoon. Oh, sorry, did you forget someone?
So,
please, yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? So I work at the NIH, right? And so we have our security guard phones. We're eating Link left and right. So our security guard phones have these VVX phones, okay? And there was a bug in the VVX phones, the 5.0.2 version, where after 180 days, the certificate that the client gets, the VVX phone gets, it would not auto-renew. So in the middle of the night, these DVX phones were dropping off the network, okay? And Homeland Security couldn't call in and say, hey, are you guys there? You know, whatever. Real big deal. So for you, we had to write some REST APIs to go hook in through UCWA to query for presence on our security guard phones, but it's like a developer stuff. Like, you know, I'm not a developer. So I got it to work. It's clunky. Can your tool alert based upon presence? So I can say,
Yes.
If these group of phones drop off, send me an email.
Yes.
Cool. I'll be coming by to see you.
So that's a great question, because if you're interested to learn more about APIs and the Skype Developer Platform, we have session N231 this afternoon at 3 o'clock, and we have 2 more ISV and partner solution sessions tomorrow. This S104 and S505. So if you're interested, we welcome you at the session. Okay? Thank you very much.